And an interesting thing to look at is note that what happened to the foreclosure rate on fixed rate loans relative to variable rate loans for both subprime borrowers and prime borrowers. The fixed rate loans for both prime and subprime, they hardly increased at all. And they even today, they're only modestly higher than what they were in the late 1990s. But for both prime and subprime lenders. But what increased was the variable rate mortgages. And that they increased, skyrocketed for both subprime and prime. In fact, they increased even more for prime rate borrowers. Some of you may remember, it hasn't been that long ago, that there were television shows that essentially the way to riches is you purchase this low interest rate loan, we can get you into this condo in South Florida that's currently selling for $400,000 a million. This thing will probably be worth $600,000 2 years from now. I mean, this was what people were being told and people were hooking on to in 2004 and 2005. And we can get you into this for $15,000. You know, virtually no down payment. Well, of course, then a number of people went into those, extended themselves to extensively bought into those kinds of loans, and it wasn't long until housing prices had leveled off and housing prices started to decrease, even modestly. Housing prices decreased modestly in the second half of 2006. But it didn't take much when you basically don't have any down payment, that you're underwater, and people walked away. And that's exactly what happened. The blind man had better check his watch. I mean, all kidding aside. Okay, so those were two very crucial factors as to why those default rates and foreclosure rates increased so abruptly. A third factor about why it created such havoc among investment bankers is a change in SEC regulation took place in April of 2004, which applied international banking conventions to the U.S., to investment banks in the United States. And those conventions treated housing much more favorably. In essence, they allowed, in the case of commercial loans, that investment banks could leverage their capital 12 to 1. They had to be required to keep 8% capital against their loans. But in the case of residential housing loans for that purpose, you were only required to keep 4%, so you could leverage them 25 to 1. And if you bundle them together in securities and get the securities AAA rated, then you only have to keep 1.6% in capital. That is to say, you can leverage them 60 to 1. Well, that's exactly what a number of investment banks did. They securitized these mortgages